Hi everybody. Today let's talk about ladder safety. Each year we have a number of accidents and injuries, sometimes unfortunately a fatality, where someone was using a ladder that either needed repairing or maybe was placed in a difficult location such as near power lines, or the ladder was damaged, maybe some bad rungs, some bad footing, or something along that line. So let's talk about that just for a moment today. There's no doubt that ladders can take you to great heights or on a quick trip to the ground. And a lot of people have experienced that. You've probably seen it a time or two, or maybe a near miss or a close call in your own business. But that's something that we have to keep an eye on, and we have to continually inspect our ladders and make sure people are following and our employees are following the correct ladder procedures. There's no doubt people will use ladders for a little bit of everything. You'll see them up in the buckets, climbing up. I watched a company one day in a small town using a front end loader with a ladder in the front end loader leaned up against a post putting up Christmas decorations. And I stopped and took some pictures. I use it sometimes in presentations, but it was an accident just waiting to happen. In my mind, it wasn't if, it was when. People will continue to use ladders in a lot of different ways, and sometimes those are very scary. Ladder hazards. There's a number of hazards out there when we start looking at ladders. Improper setup, broken parts, worn treads, overload, improper use, wrong type, overreaching. There's a lot of things that can happen. Types of ladders that we see in industry and maybe even in construction sites: step ladders, extension ladders, platform ladders, and trestle ladders. A lot of different ladders out there to use. But don't forget about the PPE, fall protection for extended work on ladders if you're going to be there for a long time, footwear with a good support non-slip sole, also safety glasses anytime you're working overhead and you're having to look up. Other PPE may be required depending on the specific task that you might be working on. Work area safety check. Can't go wrong if you do this. Complete this every single time you move a ladder. Non-electrical power lines in the area. Sometimes people will set up right next to a service line or something along that line, and just make sure you don't do that. Level surface for the ladder placement. Have you ever seen someone have the ladder kind of off to the side and they straightened it up, put a concrete block or maybe 3 or 4 2x4s up under it? You're asking for trouble. Sturdy support for resting ladder tops and not in a traffic area. How many times have you seen somebody set up a ladder in front of the door and bang, somebody come walking through the door? It happens. Work area safety check. Ladders must not be placed in front of doors that open toward the ladder unless the door is blocked open, locked, or guarded. One of those 3 things need to take place unless the door is blocked, open, locked, or guarded. One of those will keep someone from coming through and maybe knocking an employee off a ladder. Pre-use safety check. No damage to ladders. You have to make sure that the sides, the rungs, the supports, the non-slip feet, and make sure they're long enough to do the job. Pre-use safety check continues, making sure the rungs and steps are free from slip hazards. Sometimes they'll get coated with grease or maybe get coated with mud or something along that line. Make sure you clean those things off. Non-conductive side rails used for when the ladder could contact some kind of energized source. Make sure you're in a fiberglass or wooden, something other than metal at that particular time. Operation safety. Always face the ladder when climbing up or down. Use tool bag or belt to allow us to use both hands when you're climbing. That way you have either 3 or 4 points of contact contacting that ladder when you're climbing up or when you're coming down. Do not carry heavy or bulky items up and down the ladder. How many times have I seen guys throw a bundle of shingles over their shoulder and start trying to climb that ladder with it, and they're holding, trying. I'm telling you, that is a recipe for disaster. Operation safety. 1 person on the ladder at the time. Do not overextend from the ladder line. If you have the ladder up vertical and you're extending way out to the side, again, that's a recipe for that ladder to tip or you to fall off or something along that line. Secure the ladder at the bottom and fully open step ladders. closing them up to get a little bit of more height is not it. Open it up, make sure the latch is down and it's in a safe, secure position. Extension ladders are single rail ladders. Ladders used to access the roof or to a platform. Keep in mind they must extend 3 feet above the step-off point. That can get you into an injury really quick, which is the most important thing to avoid, but it's also going to get you an OSHA citation if they see the ladder is less than 3 feet above the landing point. So make sure you do that every time you set up your ladder. A proper ladder angle is achieved by placing the base at a distance from the vertical wall equal to 1/4 of the working length of the ladder. So if I'm 4 feet up, I should be 1 foot out away from the vertical wall as I lean. 4 feet up, 1 foot out. Ladder smarts do not use the ladder in a horizontal position for scaffolding or as a platform. We see it quite often where someone will lay a ladder down in between 2 columns or 2 posts or 2 somethings, and they'll use it as a walking platform. Don't do that. That'll get you injured. That'll also get you a citation as well. Ensure the base is level and on solid ground whenever you set up a ladder of this nature. Now, something to be aware of. Here's some ladder tip safeties. It says place the ladder on stable surface. I think we all get that. Avoid electrical hazards. That's something we certainly want to do. Set the ladder up in a 4-to-1 ratio. Remember, 4 feet up, 1 foot away from the wall. Use 3 points of contact at all times. 4 points is the best, but at some point climbing up or maybe getting off, you may go to 3. 2 hands, 1 foot, 2 feet, 1 hand, something along that line, so you stay in contact with that ladder when you're climbing up or down. Ladder storage, vertical storage, hang it from the near to the top rung. If you hang it up vertically, make sure that it's on the top rung is where you're connecting it. If you're doing a horizontal storage, provide hooks every 6 feet near both ends to prevent the ladder from bowing. If you're hanging it this way, it'll keep that ladder from developing a bow. Ladder repairs, repair ladders only with approved parts from the original manufacturer. Frequently lubricate metal bearings of locks, wheels, pulleys, so forth. Those are things that need to be inspected on a routine basis. If you're not doing it every day, at least make sure you check it every so often. I would recommend every day, and if it needs oiling or if it needs lubricating or something along the line so that you get a good slide or your ladder is working properly, that would be the recommendation. Tag broken ladders where they do not use tag. I have gone to work sites before and see a ladder that a rung had popped out or it had a big bow in it where somebody had bent the ladder. A number of things. It had broken off and they were using a piece of the ladder. That's unsafe and it's going to get somebody hurt. So avoid those type things. It's also going to get you an OSHA citation. So I hope we've covered ladder safety. I know this was really quick, but it's really good information. And if you'll follow these guidelines, you should be perfectly fine. Hope you have a good day, and I appreciate you attending.